I'm Dan, this is Guns & Guitars, and this is how to make your own professional guitar luthier tools out of stuff you probably already have laying around your house. The first tool we're going to be making is a guitar neck notched straight edge. To build this, you're going to need something that's perfectly straight and made out of metal. And for that, I recommend a metal straight edge. Go figure. If you don't already have a metal straight edge laying around, you can buy one just like this at Walmart or Harbor Freight for about $3 or $4. Step 1. Line up your straight edge with the guitar neck you'll be working on and mark the fret spaces with a Sharpie. You'll notice I already have one side cut for guitar, but I'll be using this one to make a notched straight edge for bass. Step 2. Using about an 1/8 inch radius, mark a semicircle around your fret markings. Step 3. Grind away those semicircles. You can use a file, an angle grinder, or my personal favorite, a Dremel tool. Quick tip for Dremel users, if you double up on your cutting wheels, you won't have to change them out as often. Step 4. File off any burrs and sand with a medium or fine grit sandpaper to remove any sharp edges. You don't want to scratch up your nice fretboard with your new tool. That's it, and this is how you use it. Place your guitar on a flat surface. It doesn't matter if it's mounted to your guitar body or not. Next, place the notched straight edge the length of the fretboard and take note of which way the neck is bending. Adjust the neck's truss rod so that your notched straight edge rests evenly, touching the fretboard between every fret with no gaps. Tightening the truss rod will pull the neck back, while loosening the truss rod will allow the neck to bow forward. Once you've got your neck nice and level, check for consistency from one side to the other. If it isn't consistent from side to side, then you probably have a twisted neck, and that's a bigger problem than we can address in this video. Personally, if there's a little bit of a twist in the neck, I'd probably still just try to level it anyway. And if it still has issues, I'd just buy a new neck. You can invest a lot of money trying to fix a twisted neck, but honestly, it's probably not worth it. But assuming your neck is nice and level across the whole width, then you're ready to move on to our next tool, our fretboard sanding beam. Again, you'll need a real straight edge for this, but something perhaps a little thicker than your metal straight edge. So for this, I chose to use my level. If you don't already have a level like this, well, firstly, you should have a level like this. It's very useful. And unlike the notched straight edge, our mods to this aren't going to affect its original purpose. Secondly, if you don't have a level like this, you can pick up one exactly like this, again, at Walmart or Harbor Freight for about $4 or $5. Just make sure that you get a straight one before you leave the store, because these mass-produced plastic levels can be a little bit wonky. Now, to make this level into a guitar fret sanding beam, measure and cut a few strips of 320 grit sandpaper to the width of the level, and attach the sandpaper to one side of the level using double-sided sticky tape. And make sure your fingernails are as dirty as possible for this step. Now, the beauty of this design is that as the sandpaper starts to wear out, you just peel it off, slap on some new sandpaper. Now that we've built it, this is how you use it. On your now leveled neck, mark across the top of each fret with a Sharpie. Then place your sanding beam on the fretboard and gently sand back and forth the entire length of the fretboard. Don't apply any downward pressure. The weight of the sanding beam is plenty. Keep sanding, making sure to cover the entire width of the fretboard as well. And periodically check the Sharpie on your frets. Some of it will sand off immediately. Other frets will take longer because they're lower. The point is to make all the frets level, so keep sanding until you've touched the Sharpie on all frets. After that, add a couple of strips of masking tape to the 12th fret and repeat the process. The masking tape will lift the sanding beam ever so slightly, causing the higher frets to taper off into a very minute slope. This, in my experience, will allow you to have a much lower action without any buzzing frets. And once you finish that, you're ready for our third tool, a fretboard guard. To make this tool, you're going to need a can of Dr. Thunder, or another frosty beverage. Take the can directly from the fridge, and, while it's still cold and frosty, enjoy. The way a soda should be enjoyed. Not out of a plastic cup from a flat room temperature 2-liter bottle and a bowl full of half melted ice. No one actually enjoys drinking a soda that way. If you serve soda like that to your guests, you should be ashamed of yourself. Do yourself a favor, buy yourself a 12-pack and leave it in the fridge overnight before your guests arrive. It doesn't cost that much more, and you don't run the risk of your friends making fun of you on their YouTube channel. Once you've finished your soda, cut the top off with a sharp knife. If you're into pocket knives, I recommend a Spyderco or better for this task. If you're not into knives, I don't know, use a butter knife or something. Just be sure to wear some protective gloves so you don't cut your hand off and try to sue me or something. I take no responsibility for your irresponsibility. Why do I feel like I'm so mad at you right now? Do you serve warm flat soda to your guests? Okay, next, using your wife's favorite pair of scissors, cut down the center of the can and around the bottom. Now take that aluminum sheet you just cut out and roll it backwards to flatten it out. Take a rough measurement of how wide your frets are and cut a square to that dimension. Lastly, fold the square in half and cut a small sliver out of the folded side. And there you have a fretboard guard, and this is how you use it. Once you've leveled your frets out, you'll notice that some frets are pretty rounded still, while others have turned all trapezoid on you. You'll need to crown those ones back into a nice round dome shape. Once again, mark the now flat tops of your trapezoid-shaped frets with a Sharpie. Now put your fretboard guard down over the top of the fret and shave down the sides with a file. If you don't have a fret file, a regular triangle file will work just fine. If you don't have one of those either, use your wife's favorite nail file. It'll do the job just fine. Shave down both sides of the fret until you wear that thick Sharpie down to a small sliver of a line. Then sand and polish the sides of the fret, starting with 320 grit sandpaper, step up to 600 grit sandpaper, and finally polish to a mirror shine with some steel wool. When you're done, your fret should look like it's brand new. Now just repeat that 20 some odd more times. That's it. I know, it's tedious, and it takes forever. But that's why a full fret leveling and dressing will cost you around $100 at any guitar shop. And since you're a cheap son of a biscuit, just like me, I know you're not gonna pay that much when you can do it yourself in about an hour or so. So just suck it up, put in the work, and after you string it up, enjoy the fruits of your labor, and enjoy another nice cold soda. From a can. Be sure to subscribe to this channel if you want to see which bass this neck is going to go on. I'm Dan, this is Guns and Guitars, and thanks for watching.